What is up, guys? Rick Cacus here, and today we have the guide to the Demolitionist within the Division 2. Now, the Demolitionist is one of 3 possible specializations that you can choose within the endgame. This video's purpose is to discuss the pros and the cons of this specialization so that you can choose whether or not you want to pick this first or switch into it, and if you do, which perks to prioritize and unlock first. And so, let's get started. One of the Demolitionist's strong suits is the fact that I think it has the best overall specialist weapon. It comes with a 6-shot grenade launcher, and this thing packs an absolute punch, and frankly, it allows you to engage enemies in scenarios that no other specialist weapon can. Take this one for example. I'm at the end of a challenging contract just doing it solo, and I'm faced with the boss. Now, I shoot this boss a few times with my assault rifle, get her down to maybe about half shields, but she's still very much alive and she's hiding behind this cover. The crossbow really wouldn't be able to hit her, and if it did, wouldn't do very much damage. The sniper rifle, she's literally behind cover. I cannot hit her with a sniper rifle. That's just out of the question. But with the grenade launcher, I can just aim, see exactly where I have to shoot in order for it to still hit her, and boom, a one-shot kill on a boss with still plenty of armor remaining. That is a lot of power packed behind your specialist weapon. Now keep in mind, with any specialist weapon, for any of the different specializations, you will have to level up this perk here as you progress through the world tiers. I'm world tier 4 right now, and I have this totally maxed out for, in total, 145% increased signature weapon damage. Not leveling this up will basically make any signature weapon tickle the enemies instead of actually killing them. But when fully maxed out, whew, your signature weapon, and in this case, the grenade launcher, becomes absolutely fantastic. So, the pros of the grenade launcher are as follows. Number 1, capable of doing a ton of damage. Can one-shot a gold bar at the max world tier. Number 2, can hit enemies behind cover. Number 3, can hit multiple enemies at the same time. It's not uncommon to kill 3-4 guys with this grenade launcher, especially because enemies in the Division 2 often spawn in groups, all running out of a single doorway, so really easy to get multi-kills. And lastly, it's probably the easiest overall signature weapon to use. Doesn't take a lot to aim and figure out which shots are actually going to get hits on targets. Much easier to use than a 15 times zoomed sniper rifle, for example, that you have to wait a whole second while aimed down sights for it to center and actually hit its target, if you know what I mean. Okay, so the signature weapon is very good, but what other benefits do you get for choosing this specialization? Well, down in the bottom right-hand corner, there are some very powerful perks, and these are things that you should unlock, if not first, very early. Firstly, for 10 points, you get the Demolitionist Tactical Link. Group members gain 5% damage to targets out of cover. This is deceivingly powerful, so your entire group basically gets 5% more damage in so many gunfights. Out of cover is just any enemy running around. If you are just about to engage them and they haven't seen you group yet, that's all going to be initial out of cover damage whenever they're running from cover to cover, whenever they're charging you, whenever they're trying to flank you. A lot of gunfights have a lot of damage that is dealt to enemies out of cover. This is seriously powerful. Now, once you unlock that perk, the other 3 only cost 5 to upgrade. Another one is Vital Protection. Reduce the chance that you are critically hit in conflict by 20%, so just going to increase your survivability overall. Another good perk is Braced for Impact. Ignore explosions. Can only trigger once every 60 seconds. This comes up quite a bit. If an enemy in either the Dark Zone or PvE is throwing grenades at you, you can just eat up the first one. That is a definitely powerful effect and is going to again increase your survivability. And lastly, something that comes up surprisingly often, Crisis Response. When armor is reduced to 0, refills all main weapon ammo. And again, when I first read this, I thought, well, that's nice to have, but how often is that really going to trigger? Turns out, quite often. Like, so many scenarios happen where you are getting low on ammunition, an enemy is flanking you, and normally you'd have to reload and you'd be killed. but because of this perk, you go back to full ammo and you're able to kill the enemy, you're able to continue a gunfight, you're able to get yourselves out of extremely sticky scenarios because of this perk. And it is so useful being able to spend your time in cover healing instead of reloading. If you're getting pushed on with an enemy, you can still engage them. Trust me, this will end up saving your life. Now, moving on from there, two other very powerful bonuses the Demolitionist gets is increases to two very relevant gun types: LMGs with Onslaught and then SMGs with Spray and Pray. You can level these up 3 different times for a total of 15% increased damage. So LMGs I would definitely prioritize. There are some very definite and relevant SMG builds, especially for crit hit damage in the dark zone, so if you're going for that, SMGs plus 15% damage is exactly what you're looking for. But I think overall, especially in a PvE environment, LMGs have proven themselves very, very good. The M60 and the M249 are some of the best sustained damage weapons in the entire game. Boosting those by 15% is nothing to scoff at. But of course, these bonuses vary from exactly what you're looking for to totally useless depending on what weapons you're utilizing in your build. Now, it should be noted that if you level up Onslaught, you're going to get access to an additional attachment, the small laser pointer. Here's what it does. It provides a 10% increase to critical hit chance and a reduction of minus 20% to your critical range. And your critical range is essentially the range at which you will hit critical hits. So reducing that range by 20% is going to overall decrease your damage output, because at ranges where normally you'd be hitting for full damage, you won't with this attachment put on. However, this is one of a very, very small number of attachments that increase your critical hit chance, which is going to increase your damage output overall as well. And that doesn't reduce your stability or accuracy. Stability and accuracy are so important to have. Missing a shot because you've spec'd all out of accuracy and into critical hit chance is going to lower your damage drastically, and it's going to reduce all those benefits you think you're getting for increasing your critical hit chance and critical hit damage. So I think this is one of the better attachments in the entire game, especially if you are going for a critical hit build. You really want to retain that accuracy and stability, and this lets you do it. Moving on from there, at the top of the skill tree, we have Explosive Ordnance. 5% increased explosives damage, affects explosive grenades, skills, and effects. You can level this up 3 times for a total of 15% increase overall explosive damage. Now, a lot of things are explosive, so if you are using your grenades quite a bit, you're setting it to your weapon. If you've got weapons and weapon perks, especially certain exotics, that inflict explosive damage, this is extremely relevant. But if you don't, not actually that good, and frankly, some of the other specialists have better perks here. But unlocking just one tier is going to give access to unlocking 3 additional perks. The first one, Incombustible, increase burn resistance by 20%. Considering just how many enemies in PvE throw incendiary nades, this is actually pretty useful. Another one is Fragmentation Grenade. Now, this is going to give you the option to switch grenades off of a normal, just grenade, I guess, to a frag grenade, and the Fragmentation Grenade deals damage and causes targets to bleed. Unfortunately, this is one of the worst of the 3 new grenades you get for picking a specialist. The Sharpshooter one that blinds enemies, and then the Incendiary Grenade for the Survivalist. Those are so much better because they make enemies not shoot you back. They just stand there inflicted by their status effect, and you can just go to town on them. The Frag Grenade is not going to do that. It's going to inflict decent damage, and the bleed is pretty good as well, but yeah, it's the worst of the 3. Moving on from there, however, we have a really interesting perk with X-Stat Armor Kit Supplementary. Armor kits repair 70% damage and boost weapon handling by 100% for 15 seconds. On completion, an additional 30% repair occurs. So, what exactly does that mean? Well, weapon handling is basically a conglomeration of a bunch of very beneficial weapon attributes, including stability and accuracy. So, pop an armor kit, and you are going to laser enemies for 15 seconds. That is something you really shouldn't ignore, and that is actually a really huge bonus. Especially because you can start combining this perk with certain armor perks that let you not use up an armor kit when you use one. Like there's one that gives you a 50% chance to just not even utilize your armor kit, giving you way more usages of armor kits and basically meaning that you can engage an entire gunfight, whether it be in the Dark Zone or in PvE, with an absolute laser beam of a gun and hitting people perfectly in the head from distances they will definitely not expect. Next up, the last skill I would really prioritize is group signature ammo supply. Kills with signature weapon grant a chance to gain signature weapon ammo to all group or raid members. All three of the signature weapons are very powerful, and having your entire group gain more ammo more often is a very powerful ability. But moving on from there, we have some perks that, while they can be good, I certainly wouldn't prioritize. Now the first one is the skill that comes with a Demolitionist, the artillery turret. So it says upgrade, the artillery turret launches ordnance at nearby targeted locations. And here's what it does. So if you're in a gunfight, you have to put this down, then you have to specifically dedicate where it's going to shoot by pressing Q or whatever platform you're on. Then it shoots basically a lower powered version of your grenade launcher at a location, and it's okay. It does alright damage. As you can see, it one hits red bars. That's nothing to scoff at because it can hit multiple enemies at the same time. Hitting like 4 red bars at once, taking an entire enemy patrol down with one single shot is actually pretty powerful. However, as you can see, against higher tier enemies, against purple bars, doesn't come close to killing them in one shot. And frankly, I really personally dislike skills that make you manually target. Instead of looking and perfectly trying to line up where this thing is going to shoot, I rather just put down an automated turret, let it do the shooting, and then I'm also shooting at the same time. My overall damage output, because I'm just shooting instead of trying to target where this is going to go, is probably going to be better. Now, after you do unlock this, you can upgrade turrets further with Cyclone Magazine, which is going to be a mod that increases the turret's ammunition count, and lastly, SHD CPU V2 mod to increase the turret's damage. After that, some more underwhelming skills are the Demolitionist Special, gives you a hard-hitting 357 Magnum revolver, just gives you a high-end level 30 sidearm, really not too important, frankly. And then you have another perk once you do unlock that, which you can increase 5% sidearm damage. You can upgrade this twice for 10% in total. So if you're running like a sidearm build, if you have a really special sidearm that you really like using, this could be top tier. But frankly, in the majority of gunfights, for the majority of players, you're using your primary, like your assault rifle, SMG, LMG, way more often. Alright, that is it for the traits of the Demolitionist. And the next question is, if you're gonna pick a specialist, why go with this one? Well, I think the main benefit is that you get arguably the best, in my opinion the best, and certainly the easiest to use signature weapon in the game. It outputs so much damage, it takes groups of enemies down so easily, it can single-handedly get you out of a very sticky situation. The grenade launcher is truly fantastic. On top of that, you do get quite a lot of very good benefits. The key ones being 5% damage to out-of-cover enemies, very relevant. You can boost LMGs and SMGs by 15% in damage, so if you're using a build that really focuses on those gun types, this is exactly what you want. You also get some great benefits to survivability, being able to soak up nades, being able to get your ammo back when you absolutely need it most and you're low on life, being able to not get critical hits impacting you as much as well. Those are all very beneficial. But there is some other, frankly, more powerful traits located in the other specialists, like headshot damage with the sharpshooter and so on. Those are very powerful. Your main bonus here for picking the Demolitionist is that signature weapon. And so guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Division 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. And if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.